Hey everyone, happy Women's Day. And yes, it's appropriate that today we're going to be talking about tips for self-care. And I'm going to wait for a few folks to hop on, but I just want you to settle in. I see some folks coming in. Yes, hi everyone. Thank you. I see the waves. Thank you. That is actually going to be great if you can put some comments in. You can do some of the emojis. That really helps because it feels like I'm interacting with you. So if you missed it, happy Women's Day. I'm so excited that today we're going to be talking about tips for self-care. My name is Monica Ortiz. I am a life coach. Yay, I see the hearts. Thank you so much for that. I got my notes here because there's some things that I definitely want to make sure that we get through. Hi, Soli. Yes, I love it. Yes. And I see Madi Potty there. Mercy. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Yes, I love the hearts. That helps today. So today I'm inviting you into my office. You get to see like my calendar, everything above me. We're actually going to talk a little bit about that. That's going to be one of my tips today. So today I wanted to talk to you about self-care. And for me, I had a really hard time having even a definition for it. Like, what does it mean? And so, yes, Mercy says she's Vivian. Hey, Vivian. So I want you to think about, before we even get into anything, I asked this earlier on in the week, like, what does self-care mean to you? When you think about it, what do you picture? What do you smell? Like, what images do you get? If you want, you can put it in the comments below. But from my experience, I could always answer with like an activity, something that I thought would be like self-care, but I really didn't have a definition for it. And it was over the last month that I started kind of tweaking it. And what I feel comfortable with now is saying that self-care is anything I do or say that is meeting my need. So for you, it's anything that you do that's meeting your needs. And when you think of it like that, it honestly is a lot bigger. And then you realize you actually are practicing self-care every single day. And so today is thinking about, how do you do it a little more intentionally, or how do you acknowledge what you're doing already and then get to see where you actually want a little bit more self-care in your life. So if you can let me know in the comments if that resonates with you, if you think like meeting your needs is a form of self-care. So again, we do it every day. Yes, Madi Patty says having a clear space physically and mentally. Yes, that is absolutely yes. I actually cleared my space before we got on this. It helps, yes. And I love the hearts. So I want you guys to think about self-care as something you get to do every day. Like, even changing that, like, I get to take care of myself every single day. It's not something you have to do. It's like you get to do it. And also thinking that it gets to be enjoyable and it's easy and it's tailored to you. So this isn't going to be a talk where I'm going to give you like the top 4 things that you have to do. I'm going to give you 4 practices that I use myself and that I give to my clients, and it helps them, it helps me, but really it's asking like, this is your takeaway. So if you get nothing else from the time that we have here together, it's, what do I need? That's the only question that I really want you to take away, because that's going to then inform what kind of self-care you need. So every day, every moment, whenever you take a breath, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, whenever you're feeling stressed, whenever you're feeling happy, you know, it can be in both positive and negative times, just thinking, what do I need, right? Because part of self-care is like making sure that it's for you. And what you need changes every single day. It changes moment to moment. It changes at different stages in your life. It really does. What you need maybe one week is going to be different because the next week more people need stuff from you as well. So really just tuning into, what do I need every single day? So that's going to be the takeaway. I'm going to bring that through the whole time we're talking, but that is definitely like the one thing to remember. And something else I want to offer you is that self-care, there are different types of self-care. So there's so many, like I had Googled it. You can Google it and you can see all of the different types that they categorize it. But I just picked 4 that made sense for me, because I like to think of it like mind, body, soul. And that includes like physical. So if you got up today, you brushed your teeth, you made breakfast, you ate lunch, you met some of your physical self-care. Like you gave yourself some physical self-care today. Another one to think about is mental self-care. I think this is absolutely an amazing one. It's anything that's like challenging your mind whenever you're doing something new. You know, whenever you're starting something new, you're learning a new language, like that's another way to give yourself self-care. You're keeping your mind focused and challenged. Another one, this is, I think, my favorite one that I do with my clients. This is like my sweet spot, is thinking about emotional self-care. So this is really understanding like what you're feeling, how to process it. It really is like all of the emotions that are happening in you and how to be able to acknowledge it, process it, and express it. And the fourth one is spiritual self-care. Yeah, I see some hearts there. I think that was for the emotional self-care. So the spiritual self-care, this one is a big one too. Thinking about when you're doing prayer, when you're doing meditation, when you're taking a walk in nature. Like this is really a way to connect with yourself spiritually, and that can even be self-care. So just to give you a recap, 4 that I'm offering you, I'm going to give you some tools later, but 4 to think about today is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self-care. And a question that you can give yourself is like, where are you practicing self-care? Like, where are you doing a really good job of it? And then where could you improve? So that's something to think about if you're taking notes, or if you are, just taking it in today, listening, or if you're watching the replay. Those are the 2 questions that I want you to keep in mind. Like, where are you already practicing self-care? Because I know that you are. And then where would you like to improve? What would you like to be doing more for yourself? So the tools that I'm going to give you today, like I said, I use them myself. One of them, it's like the oldest tool that I've used forever. And some are new, And like I said, I share them with clients, so I feel that they really can help, and it's just choosing when to use it. When is it going to be the most helpful, depending on what time you have, the resources that you have. Everything here, for the most part, it's free. I'll give you tips to make it super easy, so it's not a lot of time that you have to spend on it. And then if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments, or if there's something else that, you want me to mention, definitely put it in there. So the 4 tools, the first one that I'm going to give is journaling. So this is the oldest one. Like, I literally have journals from when I was probably like in 4th grade. So this is something that, and I wouldn't have said that was self-care when I was little, but it really is. It's a way to process your emotions. It really is a way to, like, whatever is happening inside, to be able to objectively see it. And it can be simple. Like back then, it's like writing in a diary, writing in a journal. And today, if that's not really, like, some folks really don't like journaling. That's not what they, want to do. It seems too much, like the practice is too much. So an easy way, honestly, journal 1 word a day. And the question is, what do I need? Right? What do I need? You write it at the top. Peace. That you journaled that day. That's it. That's all. It seems super simple. It seems like it's not going to do much. But just even having that awareness of, like, what do I need? Kindness, love, whatever it is. And if you want to make it longer, you can, you can do half a page. You can do 1 page. It doesn't really have to be too much that you're doing, but really keeping it super simple with that question of, what do I need? And it can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. It can be in a journal or on your phone. Like, I have so many notes on my phone that I've journaled, like, wherever I was. So don't let the, like, lack of time or location be the thing that stops you. It's just whenever you want, at different points in the day, what do I need? And you journal. Another one that I would say I really like, because sometimes, I keep saying, what do I need? But for some people, even having needs feels like, ooh, I don't want, like, there's just a lot around it. And so sometimes for other folks, another good question is, like, what worked well today? And that is one that I've been using. It's from one of my coaches, and I'm going to talk about that as a form of self-care later on. But that really helps. It kind of gets me in that space. It's like similar to a gratitude list. It gets you in the space of thinking, like, oh, what is working today? What did? And from the smallest things to the biggest things. Yeah. So let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about for journaling. No, I think that one is it. So the second one is meditation. This one is a newer form for me. I remember hearing about it in high school, and I was like, oh, that seems weird. I'm not sure I'm going to try it. And I did, and I don't think I got it then. But as I've practiced a little bit more, it's gotten better. And I think this one, again, going back to that question, what do I need? There are different types of meditation. And so if you are the person that right now what you're needing is calm and stillness, like the form of meditation that I usually use is like focusing on my breath, or I use a guided one. That really helps because it calms me down, it focuses me. But then I also hear from folks like their brain is moving so fast, their body wants to move, they can't really sit still. And so maybe for you that meditation is more movement meditation. It's like being mindful when you're walking. There's definitely active meditations. There's even creative meditations. Like I think instead of thinking like meditation isn't for me, it's maybe thinking which form of meditation is going to work for me. Which one can I try, even for 2 minutes? And really that is a form of self-care in the sense that like it just brings you back. It focuses you in. Whether you're getting into that flow state because you are focusing on your breath. And that's another thing I actually want to say. It doesn't have to be about shutting your mind off where there are no thoughts. That like your brain is meant to think. So it's okay that it's thinking. It's more like I saw that thought and I'm coming back to center. Right? Like that's it. It's like even if where you get meditation is through running, a lot of it is because it's that repetitive state. Like you get into this rhythm where your brain eventually kind of not shuts off, but just allows you to go into like this center place. So that's something to consider. And are there any questions about those two? So we have journaling, we have meditation. Keep it simple. It can be 2 minutes, it can be 5 minutes. You can definitely go longer. You can up it as you want. But I say in the really beginning, just like explore, have fun with it. Make it your own, right? So the third one, this is creativity. I love this as a form of self-care. And I don't know if people really think of it as self-care. I don't know if they, that's a different way of thinking. Like when you're coloring, when you're taking photos, when you are dancing, when you have music playing in the background, when you're painting. I'm not sure that really people consider that as a form of self-care, but it really is, right? You're meeting that need to express yourself. You're meeting that need. It goes even back to journaling. Like, let's say when you journal, you're like, what do I need? Patience, because I'm feeling anger. And then you get to that point where like creativity gets to be a space where you're like, oh, how do I express that anger? Maybe you paint it. Maybe you take a picture that takes you out of that space. Like you can actually use the tools together. But I think creativity is one of the ones that we ignore a lot. We have a lot of messaging around when you can be creative, how you get to be creative, who gets to be creative. There's a lot of messaging around like you can only do it as an adult if you're really good and you're making money from it. Yes, so Maripari's saying inner child self-care vibes. Yes, I love it. So really thinking about like creativity as just a basic need. Whether you're making money from it, whether you're sharing it with people, like the basic part of it, the most easy, enjoyable piece is that you get to be creative for yourself. And if you see my space, a lot of what's around me is like colorful stuff, watercolors. Like I really like that. And that's what I put in my space because I do have a creative need. Like it's in me. So I need to see it visually around me. I put paint. I have like color pencils, color pens, like everything that could let me be creative in that way is all around me. I have stickers. And so maybe that isn't how you want to be creative. Maybe you're creative in a different way. But even putting music on in the background while you're like, cooking or washing dishes, that just gets you in that space of creativity. And so I think for this one, the most important thing that I want to stress is that one, we actually all have a need for creativity. We have different levels of that. But if that need isn't being filled, you might start to feel frustrated, bored, angry. And so really thinking about like, how do I get to be creative today? If I was creative, what would I be doing? Right? And keep it simple. It doesn't have to be like, if you want to be a photographer, just taking photos every day. And if you don't even want to be a photographer, but you see this beautiful sunset and you want to take a photo, like just take it. Allowing yourself. Like another one that I was thinking is like if you have kids, they're a great mirror for our creativity. Because sometimes we're stressed, we're doing like all of the practical stuff. So if they're being silly, if they're painting or coloring, if they want to put on their own play, like let their creativity and imagination almost be contagious for you, right? So the fourth one that I want to offer you for self-care is community. So this is another one. All of the three things that I mentioned before, which is journaling, meditation, and creativity, you get to do solo, right? Because we all have needs. We get to meet our needs. But the last tip that I didn't want to leave out is that you also don't have to do self-care solo. You don't have to do it alone. You can do it in community. You can do it with friends, with family. Like that's another need that we have, just to connect, just to be with one another, right? And so thinking about who's your right for you community, right? Because there's also a lot of wounds around community. We've been in spaces where maybe we had this need and we're like, oh, I'm going to try out this group and it doesn't work. Or I'm going to try out this one-on-one service and it doesn't work. So there's also sometimes wounding around that, but just almost like letting yourself explore, seeing what it is that you need and then just trying it out. And this one, I will say, I've used it personally, not just with friends, with family, but also the support of coaching. So that's what I mentioned before. Like one of the prompts that I use is from my coach. I have 2 coaches right now, and that was just the support that I needed. They're part of my community because my community doesn't have to just, it can start with one person and it can grow. It can be one group and it can grow. So thinking about almost like, it's like a puzzle piece. Like this puzzle, and you're thinking about all of the different puzzles that will come together to make your community. And that might be coaching for you. It might be something else. You might get it from another place, but just recognizing that, you might have a need for connection, and that filling that need is a form of self-care. Yeah. So I see if you have any other questions in there, you can pop them in. I'm looking just to make sure. And so I'm going to recap the 4 that I said. 4 types of self-care that I'm offering you is journaling, meditation, creativity, and community. And just thinking about like, where are you already trying some of those? And maybe where would you want to improve a little bit more? And a tip that I have for this that I have been using, I'll show you. So this is like my notebook again. Because I have a need for creativity, it has to be visually pretty. And it says, adventure awaits. And so when I do my to-do list every single day, I've started this since February. You're not going to be able to see it, but I put the date. And at the very top, the first line I put, the first to do, I have journal, meditation, and music. So those are the 3 things. That doesn't mean that I do them all first thing in the morning, but like those are my non-negotiables, and I'll check in at the end of the day to see like, have I done them? And it's not about beating myself up if I don't, because a lot of times I haven't had a chance to journal, so I'll do it at the end of the night. But it's the practice of, and maybe for you it's putting it in your calendar, where whatever works for you, it's just knowing that self-care is like, it's the first thing you do. It's the first thing you get to do. It's not the thing that you like tag on because you forgot about it, and just sort of flipping that around. Like if that was the first thing that you allowed yourself to do, where would you fit it in your day? Where would you fit it in your week? And what would you actually need? Those are the things that I put because that's what I need, but maybe yours would be different, right? And so I want to just leave you with that question of, what do I need? And then you take the action. You actually take the action and just start to sprinkle it in your day every single day and see what it feels like. And if what you thought you needed, it didn't work out, try something else. Like you're not getting graded on this. It really is like tailored to you. It gets to be enjoyable. It gets to be fun. And you can start at the smallest amount or level and build up, so it's not about perfection. It's not about getting it right. It's just having fun with yourself and meeting whatever need that you have in that moment. And if that even feels too big, just start every day in the moment, just being like, well, what do I need? I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get my water. I'm feeling a little cold. Okay, I'm going to put my sweater. Like, just that simple basic stuff, so that you just get into that habit, can actually change how you think about self-care. And then you start asking yourself more and more, and you really start meeting that need. So I'm going to see if there's any questions. And if not, I just want to offer a special note for my creatives. So the folks who are feeling that creative need and they also want support, I offer a special free mini coaching session for you. And that really is made tailored for you, so that you're able to get the support that you need as you're doing a creative project. That is the thing that I love to do. So you can always go to my bio and you can book a free mini session that way. But other than that, for everyone else, I just want you to continue asking, what do I need? And then let yourself have that self-care today. All right? So I hope you have an amazing, amazing Women's Day, and take care, everyone. Thank you for being on.